Hello, this is Jcamera here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the LEGO Harry Potter set released in 2002, numbered 4726, called Quidditch Practice. I think this originally retailed for about 10 to 20-ish US dollars, I'm not sure. But anyway, here is the set. Here are the instructions. Same background as usual with the medieval stone castle, like 13th century stuff. We get the set in action. We get the forest and mountain backgrounds. And as we flip on through the pages, we got the minifigure tutorial builds with the figures all there. And then the little chest with accessories inside, which I'll take a look at later. But yes, we got that. Then we get builds from smallest to biggest. And of course, like as you'll see with the instructions, the hoops are built exactly the same, except the pole piece is bigger. Well, not bigger, but different sizes of each one. Then we get the builds, of course, smallest to biggest. Then we get an advertisement for LEGO Creator Harry Potter game based on Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or Sorcerer's Stone if you're American, because this was released in 2002, and the 2003 Chamber of Secrets version of the game had not come out yet. But it makes sense, this is a set that could work for Philosopher's Stone, at least if you either take out or swap Draco out with somebody else. The set would actually work pretty much perfectly, which I really like. But yeah, that's... Oh yeah, and one more thing for the instructions. Yeah, advertisement for the other sets and the websites here with the LEGO Harry Potter... The LEGO site and the Harry Potter website. And here's the advertisement of all the sets. So yeah, that's the instructions / packaging. Now, we shall take a look at the minifigures. First up is the boy who lived, Harry James Potter himself, in an exclusive Gryffindor Quidditch player variant. I will say that all the minifigures in this set are exclusive to this set, which is nice. And it makes sense because they wouldn't make sense to be placed in any other set. So of course he has this broom accessory, which again, all the figures of this set include a broom as their accessory. He comes with the old brown broom. He has plain white legs. Of course the head and hair is the same as usual, nothing to comment on there. Plain red cape, and there's no back printing. The colour for his torso for 2002 was impressive because it was very rare that you would get a torso in dark red, a burgundy kind of colour, which is nice. And of course you have the gold printing on there, which helps it stand out / pop even better. And of course you got the Gryffindor logo, and I'm not sure if other people are like this, but the usual student robes are horrible with the gold printing for Gryffindors. Like, I had to replace them quite often, but this is my only Gryffindor torso I've ever had to get for these older sets, and it's already perfect, which is amazing. I don't know if people experience this differently, but that's just how I'm feeling. And this is the one Harry Potter minifigure variant that was missing from the first wave that maybe they could have done. I don't know where they could have, but it was a big thing, somewhat of a big thing at least, in the first book and film. So it's still nice that we get this in the second wave that's based on the Chamber of Secrets, in a set that makes sense. The second minifigure of the set is Draco Malfoy, in green robes. This time he has a black broom instead of Harry's broom. This is most likely the Nimbus 2001 variant that his father Lucius bought for him, as well as the whole Slytherin team. And black definitely goes better than brown with the Slytherin team, so I think it looks better. One thing I'm not too big of a fan, though, is that his legs are clearly green, while Harry's are white, when I feel like both legs should be white, or whatever colour they are. Maybe it's because dark red is rare for legs, and for rarity reasons, they kept it to white. so they kept it so it's more popular. Or maybe because Harry, it's more important because he's the main character. And with Draco, it's common with green already to have green legs. And because we don't see Draco doing Quidditch in the first film / book, and we first get it in Chamber of Secrets, and with these older sets, we only had concept art to work off of, and because the first film was out, they could probably use material from that to help with some of the designs for the second wave. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't work at LEGO then, and as I'm making this video, I still don't. But otherwise, here's the minifigure. Same head and hair as per usual. Silver printing instead of gold. And he has no printing on the torso, but back printing on the torso. I think this figure is still very good. Not as good as Harry, but makes sense when it's not as interesting of a figure. Also, for some reason, this figure was re-released in the 2004 wave, but with flesh tones, when it has no reason to be in the set that it appeared in. It feels like maybe warehousing reasons. They got some leftover stock, so they decided to shoehorn it into a set. But that's more on that set, and not really on this one. It's irrelevant, but I just thought I would mention it to be thorough. And the final minifigure of the set is Madam Hooch. Like Harry, she has the brown broom piece. And this figure, as well as Harry, would easily work in the first film / book, while Draco, if you swap out the head and or hair, might pass for the first one, but as a new character, but for this, but otherwise, it would have to be for the second wave. Madam Hooch, I feel the opposite. Because the actress, as far as I recall, never appeared again after the first series, because I don't think she liked working on the film or something. But anyway, yeah, she's the opposite, where it would make sense then, but not as much here, but I'm not complaining, as it still makes sense for her to be in this set. It's the only place you can get her, and a new minifigure / character is a new minifigure / character. It's nice to get more Hogwarts professors, especially a character this niche. She has the Alpha Team hairpiece, which is cool in light grey, which definitely dates this figure a bit, but it does fit okay. It fits reasonably well. She has black torso and legs with pretty cool printing with like sort of a suit, but wizard style with the Hogwarts emblem. She has no back printing. Her head also doesn't have any sort of back printing, but she has a very cool head print on here with these gold goggles, or sort of orangey goggles, and then gold eyes, which is really cool, because I think that was something that, I can't remember if it was a book thing or a movie thing, which they didn't have to do, but it is pretty cool. I mean, they obviously need the goggles, but the eye thing is nice attention to detail. And her cape is also kind of double-sided. At the very least, it has printing, which is the only figure in this set to have that. Usually, it's only the students of Hogwarts to have it, but she's the only other character in this series to get printed capes. She has black on the outside with white stripes, and then it says plain white on this side, but depending on how you look at it, it could be really, really light grey with white stripes, but that's just the black coming across. Originally, I thought it was dark grey or actually light grey until I got this minifigure in person and found out it was white. And I even looked the figure up online, and from my research, it is supposed to be this. If somehow I am wrong, I might correct this figure for some other video, but this is how the figure is. In perfect condition, no less. As well as, of course, other figures in this set and other Harry Potter stuff. We'll first start with the Quidditch accessories. So we have this old brown chest, and in it we have 4 accessories. We got 3 balls. I will say I'm not too knowledgeable on Quidditch. I think there's like one or two quaffles and maybe one or two beaters. I don't remember the names, but there's like one of something and then two of something. And then we get this gold stud, which is meant to be the snitch, which is pretty cool. Like chrome gold, which is really cool. I wish I had wings, but they didn't have the budget for it, so they decided to do this, which still makes it look cool, rare, and valuable, like the snitch should be, because it's what wins the games, and it houses one of the Deathly Hallows. Was it? Actually, no. Was that the ring or the snitch? I can't remember, but still, that is very cool. I think besides maybe the beaters or whatever, they got the Quidditch equipment, at least from memory. Like, I do call myself a Harry Potter fan, but I will say I was never the most familiar with how Quidditch worked. So that's the Quidditch accessories, and this is cool because you can semi-recreate the scene with Harry and Oliver Wood in the first film/book, where he shows off the different gear. Of course, there's no Oliver Wood figure to do that, but you can maybe use Hooch as a replacement, I'm not sure. Still, that is pretty cool. The next build is this catapult, which is just used for, like, let's say Draco, for example. Maybe they try to fly somehow using this to fly off the ground with the brooms, like, woo, or something. Or maybe, most likely, it's so you can score points at the hoop builds. You can hit one of the balls here or something. I think this is a pretty pointless build. It's just there for play features, which I guess for 2002 standards is fine, but it's very odd and pointless. I like that they sort of try to be creative with it, but I don't think it's necessary. I think we could definitely have used these pieces for, like, double the hoops. Instead of 3 hoops, we could have gotten 6 hoops, so we get a complete ring, or improved version on the towers, make them bigger, and, like, maybe even do separate ones, like one Gryffindor tower and one Slytherin one, instead of just meshing the two together, or something else. In fact, maybe this would have just contributed nothing with pieces, but I'm coming across as a bit harsh, but I just feel like this wasn't that necessary. Speaking of hoops, here are the hoops. As I just said, there's only 3 in this set, when there's supposed to be 6. One on, like, one half of the stadium, and then the other half of the stadium has the other 3, because it's, like, the different teams. Like, this is the offensive side, and then the other side is, like, defense, or whatever. That's the idea. But taking that aside, I really like how these are done with the pieces and the heights. Like, they're not consistent at all. Like, there's a small one, a big one, and a medium one. Like, the big one is in the middle, and then the other 2 are just sort of there, which is very Quidditch-like and looks really cool. But one problem is that I do wish these were in a different color, but for 2002, these work fine. They do the job. And maybe they just couldn't afford it. Like, you could have done these in some sort of yellow or gold color, but I guess the reason is because that wasn't used as much, unless it was for a figure or really rare printing, and the set might have gone up in value, so I guess I can understand. And like I said of the instructions, you basically repeat this build 3 times, just with different sized pieces here. Also, you can stand minifigures here, so it's like they're flying or about to block a point or even score a point, which is cool. I don't think that was intentional, but if you want to do it for whatever reason, you can. And the final build of the set is this Quidditch stand, which is a mesh of both Gryffindor and Slytherin teams. I really don't like this. I mean, in theory, they executed it okay, it looks nice, but I would prefer if we got individual towers for the different houses instead of just meshing them together. Again, it's probably a cost thing, but they should have made this a much bigger set because it really does need an extra budget. But taking that aside, it looks cool, has some cool pieces. It has a cool seat here. You can maybe sit Hooch here while watching the game, or you could have Lucius because he watches the game in the second one, or one of the teachers like not Quidditch, Quirrell or Snape from the first one, like when the jinxed broom happens, or Dobby, I don't know, for this film slash book. And then we have this light here, which is cool. Lifting this up, it is revealed that we have a bag of dust and magic dust and bones and spiders here. And then we get the bottom here with this sort of grassy field. And then we get the different logos. We have the Gryffindor logo and Slytherin logo. Exactly the same ones that appear on both Draco and Harry, which are also the same ones as the Hogwarts students, which is nice. And this opens up to reveal the Quidditch book, which is nice. And there's actually enough room in here so it's not a struggle to open and close and all that. Although, my version of this is loose. I don't know if it's meant to be loose or not, but I'm a little worried. But I've checked the pieces, it's not broken. Again, I've had time to perfect these sets while making this. And here's the Quidditch book as it is. There's nothing in here. Empty. In this blue color. A great looking spine with a nice gold. You get the hoops and the broom. Mine's a bit scratched up. This is actually my second or third time buying this piece, so this is going to have to do. I will try to paint some gold in it to make it look better. But this book also appeared in the Quality Quidditch Supplies set that came out the following year. I've already reviewed that set if you want to go check it out. But there's the book again in this set titled Quidditch Practice. And we get some room here, very plain but nice looking. And it just slides on in like so. Like maybe this is the rule book and Hooch is reading it to her classes, or maybe one of the students is trying to refresh before they play. Who knows? Or maybe they're trying to find a loophole to who won the game. And as much as I complain about the mishmash, they do execute it and pull it off very well. You got some neutral colors with the blacks and greys, but the light greys, like the dark greys and black are neutral, and then you got the reds, greens, tans, and light greys as the different colors. And they do patterns, which is really cool. And they really do pull it off, even if I'm not a fan of the concept of inherently putting them together. So that's it for the set. But, did you know, there's actually a sister set that came out the same year in 2002 as a Target exclusive. That being this build right here. There's a reason that I sort of neglected this build and it's nowhere to be seen in the instructions because it's not part of the set, but it was an official build that came out during this wave and it's meant to be paired up with this set. I think this is something you could have maybe pieced together at a LEGO store, or this is just some set that came out back in the day. The instructions you can find online if you look for the right number. I couldn't get any stickers for this set, so I had to custom make them using the emblems used in LEGO Harry Potter years 1 through 4, because they recycled the same emblems from Gryffindor and Slytherin, so why not do the same? Let me know how you think I pulled these off. I'll see if I can do better ones one day, but for now, that's how it is. And this stand is obviously based on Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. It has the dark grey as a neutral colour. This time black is for Hufflepuff, so that's not used. The base is this time blue for some reason. I really don't get the logic behind that, because the green was meant to be grass, but I don't know, I guess water, or they just want more Ravenclaw in a set, I don't know. But anyway, we get this mishmash here, and it's done alright. Yeah, I had to part this out myself. And there's no real feature, it's just sort of there to build up the stadium, and you get an additional seat for an additional minifigure. Not really much to say, it's nowhere near as tall, like it is tiny compared to this stand, although it is supposedly the same length, which, I mean, at least they got that down. And, like, the roof is the same style, except with this roof, they kind of did half and half here. Sorry. Especially for anyone who's wearing headphones, I apologize for that. Anyway, it's not really half and half, but otherwise it's pretty much the same thing. There's no secrets, there's no gimmicks. This is just something to pad out the set, just to give more representation of Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw in these sets, because they are barely a thing in these older sets, so I'll take what we can get. And again, I wish we got separate ones for Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, but if you're going to do it with Slytherin and Gryffindor, you may as well with Ravenclaw. Pretty disappointing, but it fills up the set, so I guess I'll take what I can get. But still, it helps to create half a stadium, which you can't necessarily do with just one stand, so even though I'm not the biggest fan of this build, I do actually advise collecting that. I would highly recommend it. And then maybe buy a second version of the set, as well as build up another one of these. Actually, no, I wouldn't do that. Then I try to part out these brooms, and then maybe build both of these, except color swap them, so the smaller stand is for Slytherin and Gryffindor, and then this stand is for Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. That's just a suggestion, but you could do that so they feel more fair, evenly matched, and so this looks bigger and more complete. And by definition, in ways, you would be getting the set twice. And I haven't been able to find the stickers anywhere. I had to custom make them. If you know of the stickers, if you know what they look like, if you know where to find them and whatever, please let me know. So, there you have it. That concludes my thoughts on this set. In my opinion, this is probably one of the lesser sets of the wave, but I still really like it because of the minifigures and the different pieces, the colors, the hoops, and just the novelty of being the first ever Quidditch set LEGO has ever made. Although they've only really made 3, including this one, so there's really not much competition. And this is one of the major things we were missing from the first wave. We didn't get any Quidditch sets, unless you count flying lessons, but I really don't. So it's nice to get this. But yeah, that's all I have to say for the set. One of the lesser ones of the wave, but it's still really good. At least for the standards of 2002. So anyway, we are almost done with this wave. Despite being the first numbered set of the wave, or the first released with the first number, there's only a couple more sets we've got to go to review. The penultimate review is going to be Slytherin, which will be the next one, so stay tuned for that set. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later.